What's up everybody? So today I wanted to make a video about GrapheneOS, which I have on my Pixel 5. I've been using it since Christmas of 2021. It was my Christmas present. I was always an Apple user, and my Christmas present was to get a Pixel 5, and I wanted to flash GrapheneOS on here and see what it was like. And ever since then, so it's been about 9 months now, I've absolutely loved it. So on YouTube, there's not many GrapheneOS videos. The one consistent channel that posts a lot about GrapheneOS is Side of Burritos. So thank you, Side of Burritos. Your videos have been super helpful. So in order for everyone to see it better, I am going to enable screen record and pop this up on the video as well. Turn that on and then hit start. All right, so this is my home screen. And I'll just run through quickly the apps that I have on here. So I have F-droid, Aurora Store, and then I do have Proton VPN, which have it always on. So here's my Proton VPN. It's running, connected to a server. I use Proton Mail, so let's open up Proton Mail. And Proton Mail works perfectly. If I go to menus, yeah. Everything works perfectly with Proton Mail. For my calendar, GrapheneOS doesn't have a calendar, so what I use is one of the simple calendars that you can find on F-droid, and you can add events. So let's say I wanted to add an event for tomorrow, so I'm going to click September 21st. I'm going to click this add button. I'm going to hit event, and I'm going to say test event. You can put in a location, you can put in a description. I'm just going to say that, let's just keep it at 3 p.m. We'll say this will go for an hour, 3 to 4 p.m. You can set alerts one day before, so I'll just keep that. And if I hit the check mark on the top right, you can see now there's an event showing up on here. So that's pretty cool. Very simple calendar. It's not cloud synced. Everything is local on the device, which I like. I don't really keep anything that I need to sync to my devices. I just use calendar for myself. You can also export if you wanted to as well. So I believe, you can export to a .ics file and import it wherever you want. So let's say you're switching phones. You can just download the ICS file and re-upload to your new phone. So that's not a big deal. Here I have a PWA. It's Invidious. It's basically just another YouTube, I guess. It pulls YouTube videos. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So I use that. But for my main YouTube browsing, I like to use NewPipe. So let's open that. Whenever I open it, I was on my What's New, but typically whenever I open it after it's been closed, it goes to trending, which is, just trending videos on YouTube. You can also subscribe to channels as well. So if you go to my subscriptions, you can see the different subscriptions that I have to different channels. And then based on my subscriptions, I like this feature. I can go to What's New. And basically, if I refresh, pull down on the screen, this gives me all the new videos from my subscriptions. So I'm usually on this screen because the channels I subscribe to are really the only videos I want to see. So yeah, you got some privacy, security stuff, some finance stuff on here. So yeah, that's NewPipe. Settings, self-explanatory. Vanadium is the browser that GrapheneOS comes with. Antennapod is very awesome. So again, same idea. It's basically a podcast player. So I've subscribed to a whole bunch of podcasts here, and based on my subscriptions, if I go to episodes, if I go to the new tab here, refresh, I believe my list is up to date, yeah. But these are all the episodes from my subscriptions that I can go through, I can listen, and it works wonderfully. Here I have SimpleLogin. I won't go into detail, but that's just an alias service. For my password manager, I'm using Bitwarden. My 2FA, right now I'm using Authy. I I might change that. But yeah, currently I'm using Authy here. And then I also downloaded Bromite as a secondary browser. Anything, any non-critical related stuff, I'm just browsing. I like to use Bromite just to separate my browsing habits from my Vanadium main browser. For weather, I'm using Forecastie. This is from F-droid. It's an awesome weather app. Very stripped down version, but if you're moving to GrapheneOS, I guess that's what most users are after. You know, simplified apps, doesn't really use much data or pull much extra information. So here, Forcastie is basically just that. So I got, you know, my weather for New York here. I can see the weather for today on this tab. For tomorrow, I can see what's going on tomorrow. And it's not hour by hour, it's in 3-hour increments, but that's totally fine. And then later as well, so you can see future days as well. What's also great about Forecastie is if you hit the 3 dots on the upper right and you go to maps, you go to graphs, here it's the default is to less days, I guess you can call that, quote unquote less days. I like to hit more days up here, and it pulls the next, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 future days. You can see the temperature fluctuations going up and down. You can scroll down, look at when it's going to rain. You can see the pressure, you can see the wind speed, and the humidity down here. So super simple, but Forecastie gives you all the information that you need from a weather app. So that's that. Got my GrapheneOS calculator here for monitoring stocks or ETF tickers or just stock tickers, whatever. I use the Stock Widgets app, also from F-droid. You can see here, when I open it, there was an error, failed to fetch news. I can talk about that once I real briefly speak on NextDNS, which is what I use for my DNS provider. So I'm blocking a whole bunch of stuff, which is why that error popped up. But anyways, here you can put, you know, your ETFs or stocks that you want to monitor. And yeah, you can just see it right on your dashboard. So you can see that the market is down. S&P 500 is down 1.68% today. Yeah, got some ETFs that I'm following. Got a couple companies, Meta, Apple, that I'm following, but that's about it. You can search. So if I hit the search bar, let's say I wanted to look for, I don't know, Google, I guess, G-O-O-G. And this is a quirk of the app sometimes. The search is overlaid over my, my list of apps, and it freaks out. Or not list of apps, list of ETFs and stocks. So you can see it looks very messy here. So sometimes you do have to close the app and then reopen it and then go back to the search, and now it's looking better. So Goog, for Google Alphabet, I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to go back to my portfolio home screen here, and you can see we got Google here as well. So Google's down just over 2% today. And yeah, you can look at the 1 month, the 3 month, the 1 year, and go to max to see, yeah, whenever that ticker started. Looks like it was 2004. So yeah. So yeah, so this is called Stock Widgets, and it's on F-droid. And then the last two down here is Chase and Tesla. So that's one of the questions for those wanting to move to GrapheneOS is there's always this thing about banking apps not working. I use Chase and Ally Bank. So if I go to Chase here, and of course I'm going to blur out information, but we're going to open Chase. I do not have the Google frameworks and all that Google stuff installed on here. So this is a Google free phone. You can download through the GrapheneOS app store. You can download Google Services Framework, the Google Play services, and other things like that. I don't have any of that on here. So when I open Chase, I believe it's because I don't have those things installed. I get this error, but I just hit OK. I have my fingerprint installed here, or set up here. And I put my fingerprint and I'm logged in. So I can see my banking information. I can go to, click on bank account. I can click on it. I can see all my transactions. I can do everything that I did on my iPhone app. Transfer money, whatever. So yeah, if you're concerned about banking apps not working, just try it and see if it works. You might get some errors, but in this case with Chase, I just hit OK and it functions like normal after that initial error. While we're on banking, I don't have my Ally app on this home screen, but if I swipe up, you can see Ally's here. So if I click on Ally, I'm going to authenticate in using my fingerprint. And on the Pixel 5, the fingerprint is in the back. I believe the Pixel 6s are integrated into the screen, but same idea. Ally Bank, I log in perfectly in here. I'm going to click on my Ally checking. And I'm curious if it's going to do it here, but it might actually. So this is one quirk of Ally. I click on my checking to see my balances, all my transactions, and it just spins. The workaround for this is I just go back and I click on checking again and it goes through. So I can see all of my transactions here. So minor quirk, but simple workarounds like just going back and clicking on it again and it's going through. Then lastly, moving on to Tesla. So if I go to the Tesla app, we can see that it finds my car, it loads up perfect. Everything works perfectly. I got all my controls. All right, there you go. It fully loaded up. But I got all my controls. One thing that doesn't work on this is the location. So for those who have a Tesla vehicle, one of the great things is like if you click on location, you can see exactly where your car is. But I do have location services turned off. Even if I turn it on, because I don't have Google Services Framework installed, it still doesn't work. But I can live with that. I don't need to see where my car is 100% of the time. I mean, I'm driving it. It's usually with me at work or at school, not at school, at home. But yeah, all the controls work perfect. Yeah, I can adjust my charge level here. No issues. So that covers everything on my home screen. On the bottom, you can see I got Signal. Don't need to explain that. The gallery, I'm actually using the simple gallery from F-droid as well, rather than the gallery that comes with GrapheneOS. I won't open it because I got pictures of my family and all that, but I use gallery because simple gallery, because with simple gallery I can rotate my images, I can crop them, but on the regular GrapheneOS gallery I can't do that. So that's something to keep in mind. So that is the home screen here. I do have this big widget here for my alarm clock, and this widget is displaying the clock and when my next alarm is. The reason I have that here is because on the camera you can see that I have this camera blocker up here, which is blocking the time. So what I did was I just created a widget so that I can see the time and date down here. So let's find some apps. So if you're on the home screen and you swipe up, you get a list of all the apps that are installed on your phone. So we talked about most of the apps already, but there are some that are not on the home screen. So let's see if we can find some. One of them is Collabora Office, which allows you to open Word docs, open Excel docs, open PowerPoints. So this is awesome. You can even draft, like I was playing around with the Excel sheet here. I created a new Excel sheet. It's not called Excel, but yeah. And I was messing around, putting in some cells into here, doing some calculations and stuff. Yeah, it works great. And it's actually needed if you receive an email with a Word doc. Without this, you can't open Word docs. So you have to have some type of app that can open .doc files and so forth. So for me, I use Collabora Office. Let's see, what else we got here? Again, a simple music player. I don't really use that. I just downloaded it, but I might delete that. A big one is Proton Drive. So I like to live in the Proton environment rather than using Google Suite and Google products. I use Proton. So I have everything with Proton. I have an account with Proton. Proton Drive is actually in beta, which is an end-to-end secure cloud storage, but that works perfect. So here I clicked on it. We can go to something random. So I can go to my pictures folder. I'll go to this year, and I'll just click on the random picture that I have in here of a roof. So if I click on it within Proton Drive, you can see that this picture shows up. Yeah. And the last thing I believe on here is Vanguard, so which I do use Vanguard for my investments. Again, same with along the lines of banking and banking apps. I do have Vanguard on here, and that works perfect as well. So if I open the Vanguard app, authenticate in. So basically from an app perspective, everything that I've done on the iPhone, I can do here. Banking, looking at weather, podcasts, password managers, stocks, my vehicle app. Yeah, the one thing that I don't have, which is because I do have a Tesla which has navigation. But before I got that, I used to use my phone for navigation all the time. So I have not had a need to try out, any navigation apps. So that's probably one thing that's pretty common, for phones to have a navigation app. I just use my car, but that's probably something that maybe I can browse around and, test that out on another video. So yeah, so as far as main apps, I think that's probably the biggest one I'm missing here. So I can't speak on that. The last thing for this video, that's a pretty high level overview, but I just want to talk about my DNS on here. So if I go to network and private DNS, so I use NextDNS here for to route all my DNS through. And what this allows me to do is give me full control over the DNS traffic of my entire phone, not just the browser, but my entire phone. So here I have my NextDNS login page here. I have a whole bunch of blocked lists on here. And before I started this video, I actually cleared out my logs. So these are the logs that was generated from using the phone just on this video. So if we start from the beginning, you can see that we went to Proton Mail, some YouTube videos tried to load, and that's when I clicked on the NewPipe app. NewPipe does connect to YouTube to pull those videos. So you can see that there. When we went into the podcast app, it's pulling all these different domains to pull the podcasts from. This one here, Open Weather Map, is what Forecastie use to get its weather data. But this is what I really like about the combination of GrapheneOS plus using free open source software is that to pull that information, it's just pulling one domain. It's not trying to connect to all these different domains and so forth. So that's one thing that I absolutely love. When we open the stock widgets app, it uses finance.yahoo.com to pull stock information. So here, one of my block lists is actually blocking it. So for stock app to work, I have to allow finance.yahoo.com. So you can see that if I open this one that has a green, it's allowed by my allow list for that app to work. But when we went to that app, I did mention that there was that error on the bottom, failed to pull news information. That is because I'm blocking a lot of things that are Google. So when we tried to open the app, it wanted to pull news, but it's pulling news from news.google.com, which as much as I can, and I don't really need to see the news. The news for stocks are pretty much just distracting anyways. So I block it. Like, I don't need to see it. So yeah, and so forth. So I guess what I wanted to point out is, in combination with GrapheneOS, using free open source apps as much as possible, plus using NextDNS, I can see everything that my phone is doing and block things that I really don't want. So I have a lot of control using this combination and mobile device. So hopefully this video helped. I know it was just a ramble, but if you have anything that you guys want to see, please just let me know, and I will try to do a video on it. All right, thanks guys.